You've likely felt it too. There's something shifting. The speed of change in tech, business, and culture is dizzying. But there's one thing I know for sure. The future will be built by leaders who fuse ambition with empathy and profits with purpose. In this solo chat, I'm sharing the real reason I woke up before sunrise this week, completely clear on what I can no longer delay. If you've been feeling the tension between doing more and actually creating legacy, this one's for you. Hi, welcome to the podcast. I'm Sheila Botello, and I'm committed to help you reconnect to your purpose, elevate your well-being, and build your version of a happy, successful life. This week on my CEO Soul Walk that I love to do before the sun rises if I can, especially lately because it's been so warm outside, I found myself having some really interesting thoughts, and I allowed myself to just go down the bunny trail, as you say. And it's kind of funny I say that because there was actually a bunny that was running ahead of me down the trail as I walked. And I really let my mind wander into some places in terms of where the world is headed and how we're all being impacted by various changes happening and what our role is. And it was the most fascinating walk. I was able to document some of the things that I was thinking about on that walk because I do love to be able to go back and go a little deeper and journal on things. So here I was. The air was cool finally because it was so much earlier in the morning. And I felt like a coolness wash over me while I was having this thought as I was walking. And I feel like the message that came through me was something that had been building for a while, because there is something shifting. And I feel like it's shifting in our collective space as we're all moving through our businesses, whether you're a creator, whether you're someone who is building some kind of business or brand, and really just in general as humans. I felt a nudge, and that nudge started to feel like a push later on in the day as I was thinking further about what I was discovering on my walk. And it was one that was like this steady, unmistakable truth that kept landing for me throughout the day. You see, I have built a business that I love, and I deeply believe in free enterprise. And I love that we get to create something from nothing. Like there's so much beauty in that. And I love that we get to be well paid for our wisdom, that we can help people transform their lives and their businesses and their relationships. And I also see the other side. And lately it has been harder to ignore. I'm seeing some of the biggest players in the game, corporations, different platforms, and thought leaders who are prioritizing speed and profit over people. At least that's how it feels to me. And for a while now, I've held those observations really quietly, and I've just focused on my lane. But something personal happened this past week that snapped that awareness into sharp focus. And I won't share the details out of love and protection for the person that it happened to, but I will say this. When someone you care about is brushed aside by a system that values profit more than people, it changes you. And it makes you ask, am I being complicit by staying quiet? Or am I being called to lead differently? Because one might say, oh, in the face of these large corporations, like, really, what can you do? Well, this is where I want to speak directly to you. Someone who is potentially building a business for years, someone who knows how to execute, who's already hit milestones that others are still dreaming about. And you know how to scale, you know how to grow, you know how to lead. And what we are grappling with right now is truly how to lead in a different way, to lead even more consciously and courageously. And if you've ever had the thought, can I really hold what I'm being asked to build? You're not alone, because there's a lot of big stuff going on. So that question came up for me recently in a big way, because the vision I'm holding now is bigger than I expected. It's more nuanced. And it's not just about content or courses anymore. It's really about being a curator, kind of like a steward. And it feels scary, I will say. But here's what I want to offer you today. Fear multiplies in isolation. but purpose expands in connection. So if you're trying to make sense of all the moving parts, business, tech, identity, legacy, please don't do it alone. Over the years, I found myself in so many different spaces. Corporate boardrooms, community halls in my direct sales days, buzzing hotel ballrooms filled with personal development junkies. Some of the most pivotal moments in my growth truly did not happen on a stage. They happened in between. They happened over shared meals, over hikes before sessions, on long walks after powerful keynotes. The ideas were good, but the connection with others, that was everything. And some of those conversations have stayed with me for decades. Others have sparked something in the last few years. But the common thread were the people that I met who had a vision, who wanted our success to mean something. I like to think of myself as a collector of relationships. And the people I hold closest in my business world are those whose work is infused with something more, something altruistic. They don't just want to earn, they want to serve in some way. And when you know your work ripples beyond your immediate circle, that it touches people you may never meet, there's something really, really sacred about that. It's the kind of energy that gets you out of bed in the morning. It's the kind of energy that builds legacies. In fact, I believe that the most important conversations happening right now aren't happening in boardrooms. They're happening in curated, intentional communities, spaces where people can question, explore, and reimagine together. The future of business isn't more noise. It's more nuance. That's what I want to help build. That's the space I want to be in. And if you've been feeling a similar nudge, consider this your confirmation. It's time to stop waiting for someone else to say what you know needs to be said. We're the ones. We're the bridge between the old models and what's next. You've probably noticed it too, right? They're brands we've bought from for years, out of habit, convenience, trust. But in this era of constant information, we've become more attuned to what's happening behind the curtain. Some of us have been surprised and even disappointed, perhaps, realizing that our dollars supported systems that didn't reflect our values. It's truly sobering and confusing because how do we know what's true anymore? And, everything's so connected. How do you really separate it out? Then there are the brands that we love supporting, the ones that lead with transparency, integrity, creativity, the ones whose values are baked into their operations, not just their marketing copy. It feels good to buy from them. And not just because their product is good, but because we're proud to be associated with how they show up in the world. The marketplace is more transparent than ever. And now we're in a time where technology is moving so fast that it's hard to keep up. So where do we invest our time? Where do we invest our energy and our money? Who do we trust? Like a lot of questions, right? This is a lot to hold. And that's why community matters more than ever. Because when we move through these questions together, we don't just survive the change. We actually get to be part of the system shaping it. I'm thinking a lot about what it means to build a business that doesn't just make money, but actually honors humanity. Because the truth is, humans are being left behind in the name of progress, but they don't have to be. We don't have to choose between ethics and earnings. We can have both. And if we do this right, we won't just succeed, we'll redefine success. And that's the vision that I'm leaning into. And it's why I'm shifting some of my own structures, my podcast, my offers, the way I show up. Everything's evolving in this season. What started as a desire to teach self-care for business has become something much more layered for me. Expansion season, as I've been calling it, isn't just a program name. It's an energy, a way of being. It's the reminder that the most powerful leadership doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like walking at sunrise with a journal full of half-formed thoughts and a heart full of knowing. It looks like saying, I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to ask better questions. It looks like choosing aligned action over performative productivity. And, it also looks like believing that the future will be built by people like us who care deeply, who act boldly, and who lead together. And here's what I know about the edge that you may be walking. That feeling of, can I really hold this? It's part of it. Because every time we grow, we stretch. And every time we stretch, something inside of us questions whether we're ready, whether we're enough, whether we'll be okay on the other side. I have felt that edge more times than I can count in my life, and I'm feeling it very deeply right now. And I'm here to remind you of this. If the idea landed on your heart, it's because you are meant to lead it. You don't need to know the full plan. You just need to take the next step in integrity. And that message that I just shared with you, that's for me as much as it is for you. So here's what I'll leave you with today. If something's been tugging at you lately, listen. If you've been feeling called to lead in a new way, trust it. If the old way no longer fits, don't shrink to make it work. There is room for your evolution. There's room for the next iteration of your brilliance. You don't have to burn out to break through. You just need to begin with one clear, connected step. And if that step is joining me in conversation, I'd love that. You know where to find me. Check it out in the show notes. And until next time, I'm sending you so much love and courage. Let's build what's next together. Thanks so much for listening, and I will see you on a brand new episode in the new brand of the podcast. Looking forward to it. Big blessings.